After watching all of the Lord of the Rings movies, I want to watch the Hobbit movies, despite all of you telling me not to. But before doing that, I decided to read the book, and I filmed my reactions while doing so. So go ahead, grab a snack, sit back, and enjoy my reactions while reading this book. The quality of this probably looks like shit, and the reason for that is because I'm filming on my phone when I usually film on my camera, but I'm using my camera currently because I am filming a video. While I do this, because I'm most likely going to be doing like a voiceover for the video while I go through me making it, I am going to listen to The Hobbit. My god. I'm gonna listen to that and then I'll check in with you periodically with my thoughts on it. Bilbo being so stressed out as more and more people unexpectedly show up at his house. I get that. I too would be so stressed out. Gandalf, what the fuck? I know Gandalf is up to this because he just came pounding down on that door with his staff. Poor Bilbo. It is kind of funny though, listening to this after watching Lord of the Rings and seeing Frodo go on the biggest adventure and Bilbo sitting there being like, us Baggins, we don't do that. We don't fuck with that. Little did he know, they do fuck with that. Just a little update, Bilbo tried to be brave and steal from some trolls, but he should not have been brave. Because they caught him. I need you all to know that they just entered a cave with their ponies, and after watching the Lord of the Rings movies, I have a lot of PTSD when it comes to them going in caves. Lots of bad things seem to always happen when they go in caves, so I feel like something bad is going to happen because they're in a cave now. I don't trust it. I'm a little nervous. What's going to happen to the ponies?
A crack had opened at the back of the cave and was already a wide passage. He was just in time to see the last of the ponies' tails disappearing into it.
1, if something bad happens to these ponies, you're done. You're fucking done. 2, I told you, nothing good happens in a cave, and I feel like something bad's about to happen in this fucking cave.
Out jumped the goblins.
What did I say? What did I say? Nothing good happens in a fucking cave. Okay. Great goblins. Fantastic. I just love them. Can't wait to have more of them. The goblins are singing, and I'm not a fan of it. I don't like their sing-song. I don't mind most of the other sing-songs, but I don't like this sing-song. The ponies are either dead or just taken away from them because it literally says right here, I'm afraid that was the last they ever saw of those excellent little ponies. I had one wish, and the one wish was that nothing happened to these goddamn ponies. Gandalf counting everyone after saving them from the goblins made me laugh. It just reminded me of like a teacher counting all of their students on a field trip, making sure they didn't lose anybody. Bilbo just found a ring, and I'm sitting here wondering if it's the ring. I'm trying to remember the scene from the movie, and I believe he was in a cave of some sorts when he found it. I guess what I'll know is if somehow Gollum is brought up in the next few minutes, I'll know that that is in fact the ring. Are you ready for this? Listen, wait, you're gonna hear someone's voice.
Blesses and splashes, my precious.
Okay, Gollum's here, so that is definitely the ring that Bilbo just found. I don't like hearing Gollum. And listen, all of the progress that we made with Gollum in the movies, like emotionally, it's not there. So I did not enjoy his little guest appearance just now. Okay, so the question that I have right now is where Bilbo is and where he is currently meeting Gollum at. Is this where Gollum just stays? Is this the place where Gandalf dies? One thing I want to say is this book just acknowledged me, like the narrator acknowledged me, the reader. I have had books do that, but not in such a direct way. And I won't lie, it took me a little off guard. I was like, oh, you know that I exist? How do you know that I'm at home? I mean, it's not that hard to guess that one would probably, most likely, be at home while listening to this book, but still. Anyways, Gollum keeps talking. I don't like hearing him in my earballs. I already knew it that he had the ring, but it is now confirmed he has the ring because it just said, I lost my place. Oh, there it is. He had a ring, a golden ring, a precious ring. Exactly. It is really interesting reading this after watching the Lord of the Rings movies and just knowing what happens later, especially with Gollum and Bilbo, and then when you bring in Frodo and also Gandalf. I understand now why some people were saying that I probably should have read this before watching The Lord of the Rings because it does help me understand something. Granted, me missing the fact that Bilbo found the ring and that's how he ended up having it was entirely my fault. It also just kind of like happened, and I think having this like backstory and context makes a little bit more sense. And I'm really excited to experience one of the movies, though I've heard this is not a great movie, or movies, plural. I think it's going to be really interesting having read the book before watching the movie, because obviously with Lord of the Rings I went in completely blind. I feel very smart right now because Bilbo is wondering how Gollum got the ring. He has his own little theories, but I know how he got it because I saw it in the last movie. He was fishing with his friend and his friend got pulled under by a big fish, and then he spotted the ring in the water within the dirt, and then Smeagol killed his friend for the ring. And they were inseparable ever since then. Until now, at least. Because now Bilbo has the ring. Real quick, fuck all of you who made fun of me or got mad at me for thinking that the ring just makes you turn invisible, because here's Bilbo thinking the same damn thing. I'm not alone. If Bilbo thought it, I'm allowed to think it. Obviously now I know it's more than that, but when you first learn about it, you don't know that. So apologize. I'll wait. Are you typing out your apology yet? This is possibly a very stupid question, but is this narrator the person who actually did the voice of Gollum? Because it's sounding way too similar to Gollum, as in I'm not enjoying hearing him speak. It's giving me the same chills, the same heebie-jeebies. If it's not him, I call bullshit. So there's an eagle, right, that helped them flee, that helped them get out. Bilbo's currently talking to him. I'm sitting here trying to pay attention to the story, I really am, but all that's flooding my mind is the scene of the eagles coming to save Frodo and Sam, and then how some of you commented that there was a third eagle because Gandalf didn't know if Gollum was gonna be there. I'm not having a great time. That's kind of hurting my feelings. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I believe Bomba just died. Drowning? Fun little story, not that you asked, not that you care. One time I almost drowned. The canoe flipped over, I fell into water, current grabbing me and canoe, current causing canoe to continue to push down on me. But unfortunately I didn't die that day. However, I did end up getting to pick what was for dinner that day since I did almost die, and I picked pizza. Anyways, I do believe Bomba's dead because they said he was fast asleep, and fast asleep he remained. Which just sounds like a prettier way of saying he dead, he flatlined. Once again, I think it's been confirmed that Bomba's dead because they're talking about how they took turns carrying the burden of his body. For some reason, I'm living in this delusional land that Bomba's not dead and he's gonna wake up and he just didn't want to walk anymore. Hello? Bomba's awake. Bomba's not dead. Wow, I misinterpreted that really poorly. I really hope I'm not the only one who thought that he was dead. But hey, at least I held on to the hope that he was gonna wake up. Okay, ever since Bomba woke up, all he's doing is complaining because he's hungry and his legs hurt and yada yada yada, and there's also an issue with food. Now hear me out. This is not me condoning cannibalism by any means, but if we had to choose someone from the group, might I suggest Bomba? I mean, it's the least he could do. You know? And he says he wants to go back to sleep, so just, put him back to sleep. And then eat. Just close your eyes, pretend it's chicken. I do find it a bit comical that every time they need someone to go do something that no one else wants to do, they just volunteer Bilbo. They're like, hey, someone needs to go climb to the top of that tree. They need someone to go check out the lights. They go, Bilbo. Bilbo's our guy. He's here for a reason. And the worst part of it all is that Bilbo was volunteered to go on this. Without his knowledge, Gandalf just went, hey, this guy, this is your guy. And Bilbo's like, what the fuck? I thought you were just coming over for tea by yourself. First you bring this entire group into my home who eats all of my food and stresses me the fuck out, and now I'm on this adventure? I don't do adventures, I'm Bilbo Baggins. So they're mentioning the elvish folk. All I'm really wondering is Legolas and Sexy Man's lady gonna show up in The Hobbit? Is Sexy Man gonna show up in The Hobbit? He is mighty old. So dragons have been mentioned a handful of times, so all I have to say is, show me the dragon. I need you to stop talking about it, and I need you just to face it so that I can be shown it. Thank you. I'm also sitting here thinking about how there are 3 movies, and I believe The Hobbit is just 1 book. And so if I haven't seen the dragons yet in the book, I don't think I'm going to see the dragon in the movie until the 3rd movie. Once again, Bilbo is being volunteered for a task that the others don't want to do. And I understand that he's going to get paid, he's going to get his reward for doing all of this, but I just think it's so funny. Every single time they're like, yeah, Bilbo would do it. Real quick, I want to go back to, I don't remember when I said it, but I asked if the mountain or the place where Bilbo found the ring and met Gollum was the same place where we first see Gollum in the movie, in that place where Gandalf died. I don't believe that's correct. I don't believe that's correct at all. I think it's completely different places, but for some reason in my brain I go, ooh, dark place must be same place as in movie. Because clearly only one dark place exists. Dragon, a red and gold dragon. Side note real quick, do you know what I'm excited for? The live action How to Train Your Dragon. I love that movie and I really want to watch it again because it's been years actually. And I love Toothless specifically. And I understand that this dragon by no means looks like Toothless. Probably much scarier, probably closer to the looks of like the dragons in Game of Thrones or something like that. But my brain is refusing to picture this dragon as anything other than a red and gold version of Toothless. Again, I say I know that this is probably not accurate and most likely not at all what I'm going to see in the Hobbit movies, but it is what the Mind movie is picturing currently. Thank you. Just thought I'd share with the class. I do gotta say I appreciate Balin for going with Bilbo to see the dragon, even if he did keep his distance, because it's more than what anyone else was willing to do. So I appreciate Balin for that. Hey, does this fucking dragon speak? Or am I just getting the honor of hearing his very angry thoughts when he noticed his cup was gone? I don't know how I feel about that. Do I want the dragon to be able to speak? Smaug, who is the dragon, is honestly so smart for pretending to be asleep so that he can try to catch the thief. Like, sorry to all of the characters in this book, love ya, but I am rooting for the dragon. Okay, so Smaug does speak. And again, I don't know how I actually feel about that. I mean, I don't feel super strongly either way, liking it or not liking it. It's just the only talking dragon I've ever known are from Dragon Tales. And that's not meant to be an insult by any means to this dragon. It's just me making a statement. I'm not comparing the two. I wasn't expecting this dragon to be able to speak. Bad Dwagon. Dwagon ate the ponies. What the fuck did they ever do to him? Eat the dwarves instead. What the hell, Smaug? Why would you eat the ponies? Dwagon is dead. You know what? After he ate the ponies, I'm okay with it.
Bilbo referred to them as his friends, and I think that's really nice.
Oh, well, fuck. Thorin is mad at Bilbo. Fair, because Bilbo did give away the one thing that Thorin wanted the most. But it is unfortunate, you know? A decent amount of things have happened, but really the main one is Thorin's dead. Him and Bilbo did have a nice little talk, so that's good, you know? He didn't die with them still fighting, but he's dead. The fact that when Bilbo gets home, like he finally returns home after all of this stuff he's been through, this crazy adventure, just to come home and find out that one, everyone presumed he was dead, and two, they're selling his shit. Imagine being on that giant journey. You see a dragon, war, all of this stuff. You go through so many different things just to come home and find out that people didn't believe you'll come back. They thought you're surely dead. And one of their first thoughts to do is sell your stuff. And you just want to go home. But you can't because a bunch of your stuff is sold and people really want to move into your place. Poor Bilbo. Poor Bilbo. Okay, I have officially finished the book. I did forget to mention that Elrond was in fact in this book. It took me a bit to connect the dots. The thing that you need to know is that one, I'm really bad with names, and Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, so many names. So many names. But if I had seen his face, I would recognize him. I think I said earlier, or I asked earlier, if there were any characters other than like Gandalf and Bilbo and Gollum from the Lord of the Rings movies that will be in the Hobbit book. And I think other than that and Elrond, there weren't any. But it was nice to see him. I did go back and check then to see if he had been mentioned earlier. He had been. A decent amount of times, but it took me to the last chapter of seeing it again to realize it. And I think that really just has to do with the fact that I wasn't really looking for any characters that I was aware of. And again, bad with names. I don't think I ever actually like latched onto his name when I watched the movies, but I latched onto his face. That sounds fucking weird. I did not mean for it to sound that way. What I meant is I memorized his face, but I didn't memorize his name. Please don't clip that one thing that I said. Thank you. Anyways, like I said, finished the book. I really enjoyed, so what I did was I primarily listened to it on Audible, but I do have the physical book and I also have my Kindle on my Kindle as well. And so sometimes I was just listening to it like while playing games or doing chores or something, or I would sit there and I would follow along, but I really enjoyed the narration. I did check, the narrator is in fact the person who did the voice of Gollum, which is why I got the chills and the unsettling feeling while listening to his parts in the book. And I'm gonna be honest, I am not looking forward to the fact that this one book was spread out into 3 different movies. I'm gonna do this thing before I start the movies where I'm gonna write down all of the events and characters that I remember or that I want to see in the movies, and I'm gonna go through a checklist to see what they get. Because if you took this one book and made it into 3 movies, you better have every goddamn detail in there. Like, you have no excuses at this point because you have 3 movies for one standard sized book. The first movie is almost 3 hours long. There is absolutely no way you don't have every single detail in there. I also am aware, I've seen the comments. I've seen people who love Lord of the Rings and even the Hobbit book just say outright that the Hobbit movies aren't good, which also means that I have the green light to make jokes if warranted without any of you getting mad at me. You can get mad at me if you want. I'm still gonna make jokes if I want to. Okay, that's it for my video today. I will see you next time for the first Hobbit movie. Bye! Oh, don't forget to do the YouTube things, you know, like you subscribe, like, comment, and share, things like that. Thank you. Okay, bye!